welcome back to my channel. My name is SYLVIALYSIAK. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is SYLVIALYSIAK. Like I just said, definitely hit that subscribe button. That way you get to know me and I get to know you. Bada bing, bada boom. Yes. Really quickly, before we move on with today's video, I want to give a huge shout out to Luisa because I have become their ambassador, one of their ambassadors. They have plenty, and I have a discount code that I wanted to share with you guys. This jewelry necklace, this necklace that I'm wearing today is from Luisa, as well as these hoops. They're so gorgeous, so beautiful, and they are so earth-friendly. It's ridiculous. Now, I'm sure you've heard of other YouTubers having discount codes, but what's cool about mine is mine gives you 12% off instead of 10% off. So just use my code SYLVIALYSIAK12 at checkout on your next order from Luisa. They have absolutely gorgeous, stunning jewelry. The necklace that I'm wearing today is the Blair necklace. It's from the YouTuber. Her name is Blair Walnuts. I'm sure most of you, or some of you at least, have heard of her. I've talked about her previously on my channel. I absolutely love her. I got this for Christmas, even before I was working with Luisa. So I really love their products. So yeah, definitely check them out. Use my code at checkout for 12% off, because who doesn't want to save money? Now, obviously, this is an affiliate link and an affiliate code. You do not by any means actually have to use it. It would just be a huge help to me and to support myself and my channel, because one day eventually I want to make YouTube my full-time job. So yeah, it would just be a way to be helping me out, but by no means do you actually have to. The link is just there for you to use it, and the code is just there for you to use it if you are interested. Now, let's get into today's video. Today's video is a story time. It is a story time about the time that I was rushed to the hospital because of an anaphylactic reaction. Now, if you don't know this about me, which I'm assuming most of you don't know this about me because I've never really talked about it, but I am insanely allergic to nuts. I have a massive nut allergy. I've had it ever since I was a baby. Like, I was born with it, and it's anaphylactic, so that means that I can break out in hives. My esophagus slowly closes on me and I begin suffocating. It's really fun. It's a good time. I'm very lucky that I've only ever had really 2 instances where I've had to go to the hospital for this. The first one was when I was 2 years old, but obviously I do not remember that instance because I was 2 years old. So I don't remember that time, but the other time was pretty traumatic. I was much older and I was freaking out. I was 11 years old, and one day my dad had brought home, it was like a salsa, but it was like a spread for bread, or like whatever you wanted to put it on, just like pita or bread. But to me, the only way I can describe it right now is like it was like salsa consistency. So yeah, one day my dad came home with this salsa, and I was watching TV. This is back when I lived in Toronto. I was watching TV, and he was on his computer doing some work, and lunchtime came around, and he was like, hey, I got the salsa thingy, whatever. It was called pesto. That's what it was called. It wasn't like actual, like the herb pesto. It wasn't that. It was like the salsa was actually called pesto. Like, that was the name of the brand. So it was like pesto salsa. That's what it was called, whatever. So he was like, hey, I got this pesto salsa. Do you want me to make you something? Like, put that on bread or something? And I was like, yeah, sure. It was lunchtime. I was hungry. So yeah, he did that. My mom was at work, and my brother was, I don't even know where my brother was, honestly. I feel like he was with my mom, because my mom worked at a daycare at that point. So I feel like he was at my mom's workplace, because we would go there very often because we had friends there. So it was just like a fun time for us, and we would get in for free because my mom worked there. So I feel like he was with my mom because I don't remember him in this story at all. So my dad goes ahead and makes me this, bread with this tomato spread. That's what it looked like. It literally looked like a tomato spread. If I can find it, I will insert a picture right here of it if I can find it, but I do not remember what it was really called. I know it had the word pesto on it. That's all. He went ahead, made me this lunch, and as I was eating it, I was fine. I ate the first slice of bread with a spread and it was good. It tasted good. And then I ate the second slice. He made me 2 slices of bread with the spread. And I was just watching TV. I remember I was watching Cory in the House. Who remembers that show? I do. I was watching that show. And the funny thing was, I just remember how ironic this was, because in the show, it was an episode where a girl actually got an anaphylactic reaction to nuts. And at the same time, so I was watching the show with the girl in the show having this anaphylactic reaction to nuts. I was eating this thing, and all of a sudden my gums started to tingle a little bit. And at first I didn't think much of it, because sometimes that happens. I'm sure most of you have experienced that, where you eat a certain food and then your gums kind of like tingle. They're like a little itchy. It's like, you know, a minor like little allergic reaction thing, but not anything serious. At least that's what I thought. And then about 20 minutes, not even 20, about like 10 minutes later, I started feeling a really weird feeling in the back of my throat, like right here. I felt something weird. And I started to freak out, because when I was younger, I was such a scaredy cat. Like, I was worried about everything. I was scared of bacteria. I was so paranoid about nuts that literally I was sent to a therapist when I was in elementary school, because I refused to sit next to anyone who was eating any chocolate, even if it didn't have nuts. Like, I was so paranoid about my allergy, which is a good thing to be paranoid as a child. That's what I would hope for. If I had a child with an allergy to something, I would hope that they were like paranoid, but not to the level that I was. So I was paranoid. So I started feeling really weird. Something was in my throat. That's what it felt like. It felt like a frog in the back of my throat. So I began freaking out. I was like, Dad, I feel weird, I feel sick. And then all of a sudden, my arms started to get itchy. There wasn't any hives yet, but I just started feeling very itchy. And my gums were itchy. My whole throat was just like feeling tighter and tighter. And it felt like there was just like a lump, something in the back of my throat. Just like, it just felt weird swallowing. And then all of a sudden, my lips, all of my lips, they just started tingling and being really itchy. So I started scratching, and then my face was just like red. So I started freaking out, and I'm like, are you sure there wasn't anything in that pesto thing? Because that's the only thing I could think of. It was just bread with the spread. I'm not allergic to the bread because I've eaten that bread multiple times. The only difference was the spread. So my dad's like, no, it's just like tomato salsa. Like, that's all it was. Like, we both genuinely thought that's all it was. So then I was like, no, there has to be something in it, because I was panicking. Like, I was on it. Like, I was freaking the hell out. So I take the jar, because it was in like a salsa jar. I swear this was a salsa. So I take it and I turn it over and I read all the ingredients. And sure enough, there was cashew flour in it. Cashew flour. And the nuts that I'm most allergic to are pistachios and cashews. So after reading the ingredients, I was freaking out. My dad was very calm. He remained calm, which was excellent, because if he was not calm, I don't know what would have happened. Like, I do not know. If we were both freaking out, that's the worst situation to be in. So he was calm. He was reading about this cashew flour, and I just want to say I was not choking yet. I was not suffocating or anything like that. My mouth at this point just felt very weird, and my throat felt very weird. So after reading the ingredient list and seeing that there was cashew flour, my dad asked me, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to the hospital, or do you want to wait it out and see what happens? Because at this point, it wasn't anything serious yet. My mouth just felt very weird, and my throat felt like there was like a frog in it. Like, it felt like there was just a massive bump in the back of my throat. But I was still breathing pretty okay, and I didn't have any hives yet. My mouth was just kind of itchy. That's all it really was. And like the surrounding area around my lips was a little bit itchy, but not anything crazy yet. So my dad was reading about cashew flour, because he wasn't sure if this was like made from actual, like, I don't know what was going through, because I had never heard of cashew flour, and neither had hit. Like, this was like early 2000s, mind you. Like, cashew flour was not like a huge thing. It's not as big as it is now. So I was like, let's wait it out, because I was petrified of the hospital, might I add. I was terrified. I did not want to go to the hospital. The hospital was like the last straw. So I went back to sitting down, and I was just sitting there watching TV, but at this point I was so paranoid about everything, right? And then about 10 minutes after that, I started to have trouble breathing. And this is when I really started freaking out. Like I said, I was petrified of the hospital. So my dad started freaking out at the same time, because I said, I need to go to the hospital. I don't want to die. Like, I was so scared of dying, so scared about this whole situation. So I was like, let's go to the hospital. And that freaked my dad out because he knew how scared of the hospital I was. So the fact that I'm over here like, no, I'm going, I'm grabbing my stuff, I'm like ready to go at the door. And he was just like, okay, we're going to the hospital. So we drove to Sick Kids. We got there, we told them what the situation was, and they take, obviously, anaphylactic reactions really seriously. To this day, I don't think that was a huge anaphylactic reaction. I think it was a very mild reaction, which is great. I'm thankful that it was as mild as it was. It wasn't mild, but it wasn't like severe to the point where I was like on the verge of death. Like, it wasn't anything like that. Now I know that for allergies, they gave me like the strongest Benadryl, because I know that that's what they actually give you at the hospital. It's not like the Benadryl. You can't buy this Benadryl at like any store. You actually need to go to the pharmacy. Like, it's prescribed to you. It's like the strongest Benadryl that they have. So that's what they give you at the hospital. They hooked me up to a bunch of machines. They were giving me like an oxygen mask. They gave me the strongest Benadryl. So that was that. And I was okay. I was there for a while. I was there for like 6 or 7 hours. Like, we got there at noon. We left like evening time. Like, it was dark out by the time we left. So yeah, it was not a fun time in my life. Needless to say, my mom had come after she finished work. But yeah, all in all, it ended well. I'm still here. The amount of times that I almost died is actually insane. But yeah, that's my story. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications to be notified every single time that I post. And yeah, let's spread love and positivity wherever we go. And I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.